What's going on, everyone? This is Spooky, and this is my off-the-cuff guide to Caesar King in Zenless Zone Zero, where I'm going to be talking to you about her skills and helping you determine whether you want to pull for her or how to play her your best if you got her and you're just learning how to use her and you want to learn how to use her the most effectively. So first off, whether or not to pull for Caesar King. Well, if you want to pull for her, let's talk about what's good about her. So Caesar's main thing that's unique is that she's the first ever S-rank defense agent. And because she's a defense agent, they kind of want her to be good, so they're giving her like a little bit of everything. So she's got good buffing, she's got good stun with her impact, and she's got some other good stuff in her toolkit too. So her core skill gives you a humongous shield, and at the max rank, it also gives a 1000 attack buff to the entire team. The shield can be passed over from character to character. It always hits whoever's the character that's on point, and the shield also will give you anti-interrupt too. So when the enemies are trying to hit you, normally if the attack will knock you back, well, guess what? This prevents that from happening, which is really good. She's got a lot of ways to activate this too, including her EX moves. She's got her shield bash to retaliation, which she can do also from her defensive counter, and she's got a lot of different ways to get into this very easily, which is another thing that's great about it, because she can keep up this buff pretty much perpetually, which gives her unparalleled ability to defend your team. The core skill also has an additional ability tacked on as if it's not strong enough, called Battle Spirit. This one happens whenever you do a perfect block, a retaliation, a defensive assist, or a charged basic attack. She'll debuff all enemies nearby to her by 25% for 30 seconds, which is huge and an extremely long amount of time. Now, she's also got this unique special attack. As you can see, it does a bunch of different things, but the thing that's the most important that this thing does is that it has this parry counter, and it also has a shield bash follow-up that you can do after the parry counter. Now, if either this parry counter, it doesn't matter if it's the regular one or if it's the EX one, if this parry counter or this overpowered shield bash, the parry counter hit, then either you get a free follow-up to do the overpowered shield bash, or you get 20 energy refunded, and then you can just do it anyway. So this attack is real busted. You can just kind of keep doing it over and over, just keep on pressing your triangle or whatever button it is, and you can just keep on hitting them with your skill. And because it's got that parry built into it, it's super effective for just rushing down and building stun really quickly on the enemy. In this clip, you can really get a sense of how powerful this is, building massive stun while also parrying, being invincible, and for real just shield bashing through everything. It's a very powerful special attack and also a very powerful EX special attack when you have the meter available. And the first part only costs 40 meter too, so it's a very frugal skill that you can use very often to continuously buff your team. Her defensive assist is also excellent, and it's unique in that if it parries a heavy attack, it will only cost 1 assist bar rather than the normal 2 that it costs for other characters with a defensive guard type or parry type assist. Now, if you're wondering what kind of equipment to give her, for the W engine, unfortunately, her best W engine by far is the Gotcha W engine, the one that's on the roll, the Tusk of Fury. This one gives her impact, which is amazing. It makes her shields 30% bigger, which is also amazing. You get humongous shields with this, and also it helps you increase damage by doing some of the things that normally your team would do. This one is especially good if you have Jane, because Jane's the kind of character to stay out and then dodge a lot. Well, guess what? This buff will hit Jane too. You can use Caesar as the defensive assist, and you can keep things going with it as well. It's a very powerful combo. Now, if you don't have this engine, one thing that I've seen a lot of people recommend is going for some type of stun engine, just that you can get a lot of impact. And that's not a bad idea, because most of the defensive engines are not very good. The Seth one is not too great for her, although at least it has attack. Most of the other defensive ones are pretty bad. The Transmorpher is okay. This one's the only other one that's okay for her, but I would recommend, honestly, the same thing. Go for a stun W engine. That's the best bet. Now, as far as this, keep in mind that this character is meant to be really flexible. So if you don't have the best disc in the world to throw at her, put on anything that's going to give her a set bonus and give her a little bit of stats, and just let her work, you know what I mean? But the main stats that you want to focus on really are crit rate if you can, and then just giving her a little bit of defensive stats here, then a little bit of attack stats wherever you can, right? So I went for Proto-Punk 4-piece, which also makes it so that your guys do more damage when you do defensive assist. It combos really good with Jane. And then I gave her a 2-part swing jazz, which gives her energy regen. But there's a lot of other things that you can do. I've seen some people do this Shock Star Disco combo where they're going for Shock Star and they're trying to get some impact. And I've also seen this set here, 4-piece Proto-Punk and 2-piece Shock Star, which is another way to get things going. But I like having the energy. Keep in mind that the more impact you get, the bigger the shield is going to be, and even a little bit of impact kind of can make a difference, right? But yeah, you know, it's still pretty nice and pretty awesome. So try whatever set you guys want. Put anything on her if you just want her to work, and just let her be defensive and she'll still get the job done. So keep that in mind. Now with Caesar, one of the things that's extra amazing about her is that she works in almost any team, whether you want her to be the main stunner or you want her to be the main support and work together with another support that's a sub support, or whatever else you really want to do with her. You can kind of just mix her in anything and kind of make her work. So that's what's great. But I'm going to show you some examples teams that might inspire you based on the rosters you have. So obviously this is more of a lucky break or a whaley kind of team, but Jane, Grace, and Caesar, this team is really good together. Caesar passes on a huge buff to Grace and Jane, and then the two of them just get their anomaly game on, and she comes in either to help them out or to sometimes stun the enemy so that they can do even more damage while the enemy is downed. You could do the same thing with Seth instead of Grace. So instead of its anomaly team, it's straight up just a Fizz DPS team. And if you want to see Jane do the biggest numbers you've ever seen Jane do, this team will definitely help you do that. This is a team for those of you that have had Zhu Yuan. Most Zhu Yuan users already have Nicole, so you can put together a team that's something like this. It just does not stun as fast as having like a Chingy or an Ambi or whoever else on your team, but it does still stun pretty quickly. You can still put the Ether Bang Boo on the team. I know I have the electric one on there right now, my bad. But you can use this squad to really get lots of damage in there, and you're giving the team a lot of survivability by doing this as well. So you're not leaning on the stunner to do all the work as far as being defensive. You can make the whole team kind of come in and out whenever they want, and because they have the huge Caesar shield, they're going to be just fine. This one is a team for free to players, and it's a very flexible team in that the third person can be pretty much any DPS you have. I have Piper here as the example, but Caesar, Lucy, and anyone as a third person. Caesar and Lucy pass over their buffs, and then that DPS comes in, does their thing, and whenever that DPS needs help, Caesar comes in with her defensive assist to help them out. This one is an example of a hyper stun comp, and this comp is designed to stun the enemy extremely quickly, DPS them down with the Caesar shield, and then go right back to stunning them if the enemy gets back up. This one can be really effective if you got a real big A-rank attacker like a C6 or something like that. That's just good at doing damage. It's also great with S-rank attackers, but this is more like a free-to-play concept. This last comp is an example of a free-to-play concept for an extremely defensive team. This is great for those of you that struggle with some of the shield defenses that involve having your characters not die or something like that, or if you just want to show off the most gigantic shield you could ever have and just make yourself nigh invulnerable versus the enemy, then this is the perfect team for you. Alright, so first off, we're going to talk about some combos. So first off, there's her basic old combo that you can do, which is just go through all the attacks to all the way at the end. This combo is okay, but as you can see, it doesn't really do that much stun on its own. So it's not really that useful outside of when you have bonuses. So one thing that's a little bit better to do instead is to just use your EX skill, because this is really the move that's going to do most of the stun that you want. So you can just use it like that and do the double part. See how much more stun that did already. Then combo them out some, build some meter, something like that. Then when you got meter up again, just go in. Keep it up. That type of thing. And this does a bit more stun, but the main thing about it is that as a stunner, as you can probably tell looking at this little clip, she's not really good at stunning just when an enemy is not really like attacking her or not really doing certain things. Alright, so I'm going to set things up so that I have a moving target, and hopefully this will help me show you a lot better how the parry works. So we got a Dullahan. These attack pretty often. So what you want to do is when you think an attack is coming, you press triangle, or you press skill, and then you press skill again. And it doesn't need to be the EX one. I find some people, you know, they don't. But notice how much stun this is doing already. The enemy's been stunned. Then you want to bring in, you know, whoever it is, that's your damage dealer while the enemy's stunned. Typical stun tactic, right? Also, utilize your defensive assist when you can. Just like that. After the defensive assist, if you press special, you can get another discounted follow-up.
A little gift for ya.
And that's some of the typical loop, basically, of when using her. If you don't have the defense shred from the core skill, you can always use this charge assist skill whenever you really want, really. It doesn't really matter. But the main thing is try to utilize your special well so you get the extra stun like this. That's the most important thing. And you don't have to leave her on point. I could instead, you know, leave Jane on point and let Jane just do her damage that she does. And when I don't like something, bring her in.
The pressure's on.
Because she can block heavies and only use one assist point, she's really strong as a blocker as well. So she's going to help out your team kind of no matter what the composition is. Anyway, guys, that's it for my guide. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see gameplay of her, Caesar King, just check out the channel. I posted some videos using her in various teams, using her with lots of Resonia in the hollow so you can see crazy damage that she does, and just showing a lot of different strategies with her. So give her a shot. Let me know if you guys got Caesar, and if you did, let me know if this guide helped you out or if it helped you decide whether or not to pull for her. And have a beautiful day, everyone.